Hi, what we will generate today is an invoice according to the ZUGFeRD standard for invoicing. So this is an invoice that has a PDF and has an XML attached. Also, the PDF is according to certain standards. As you can see, PDF-A standard is assumed here, and most important, it has the XML attached. This is what they call a hybrid invoice. So it's not fully XML yet. There's a combination of a readable PDF together with an XML. The XML will look as the following. So that is the overview here of all the information, and this information we have to of course supply via PDF Butler, so all the two things can combine together. For this project, you need to create two DocConfigs. One DocConfig will have a record type called E-INVOICE ZUGFeRD. If this record type does not exist on your environment and your org, that's not a problem. You can just go to the DocConfig over here and then add that record type manually. In the description below, you will find the name of the record type because obviously the name here is very important. It has to be exactly the same. So please copy paste from the description below. PDF Butler, you can open the record type, the DocConfig via Open PDF Butler, and then you will see the normal PDF Butler screen. A document is required, but obviously this is just a dummy document, so you can just put any document here. It doesn't really matter. It will not be used, obviously, because we're going to create an XML file. This is just for our validator, that we didn't have to create too many changes in there that might impact other projects. Now you can add your data sources as you always do, and then you can create your config types. So the config types are a bit special for the e-invoice because we call them, you have two types. You have an invoice line item, which on the, if we go back to the PDF, it's a little bit easier to see. This is an invoice line item, this one for instance, and this is another one. And then you have invoice single, and that's for instance the invoice number or the name. So just items that come from a single data source. A couple of examples here is the recipient name. If you edit this, you will see that it's normal. You just say invoice single, you select the data source that you want to use, the field in the data source that you need to use, and then obviously you also have to say which field that you want. The fields are divided into recipient, sender, and invoice. If you see that you are missing some fields, don't hesitate to reach out. That the standard is pretty big, but we took the fields that are now compatible with probably 90% of the invoices out there. So you have to fill all of these fields, create config types for all of these fields, and then you can see an overview like the following with all the data as you see here. Then there is also line items, so invoice line items. Then you just create as you would normally do, like in the table row. In PDF Butler, you would just create an invoice line item, config type, select the data source, and that's it. And then you create some extra childs on the line item. So the type here is obviously again invoice single, and then leave it with the parent data source. You have to select the fields, and then the fields or the possible items that are part of an invoice line item for the ZUGFeRD standard will show up. So that's the production name, the production description, VAT, price, quantity, and so on and so on. Again, here, if you are missing certain fields or you want to add, there is a certain field to be added, don't hesitate to reach out. Cool. That's the setup of the XML file that is attached. And then we need a PDF as well. So in the PDF, this is a normal PDF file that you will have to set up for the invoice. Maybe you already have that PDF file. You can just reuse it. And then in the PDF file, you will see a certain config type called E-INVOICE. So if I edit this one, and okay, let's maybe create a new one. If I say here, this is E-INVOICE, then it will request a certain template. And this template is the XML file that you have created for the XML file that you have created. So this is, in this case, invoice XML. It's linked to a certain stage, obviously, so we are now in stage test. So it will show all of the invoice XMLs that are in stage test. So and that's the way to add it into your PDF. That's the only thing that you have to do. Now the PDF file and the XML file are linked together, and then you can just create those that DocConfig. So the creation of the DocConfig is pretty simple. You just define the DocConfig in, let's say, a previewer, or you create a pack, just what you would normally do. Maybe you want to mail it out, then you can just use that DocConfig, the DocConfig of the PDF in that previewer, that pack, any way that you would like to work with it, maybe in a batch job, and then you can generate it. And now it will generate both items. It will generate the PDF, which is then visibly shown here, obviously, and it will also show the XML file in the back. If you download the PDF and would open it, then the PDF would be according to the standards that is required and would have the XML file attached.